doing is to send the kids to this Higher Thing conference that we've gone to the last 2 years, and we've had an amazing time. I realize not everyone knows what Higher Things is, so I printed off their About Us, and I'm going to read it to you to tell you what Higher Things is. So in 1998, several LCMS pastors began planning a smaller, more regionally minded, cost-effective conference for youth, designed to be uniquely Lutheran. A year later, those plans were unveiled for the Dying to Live National Lutheran Youth Conference, held in the summer of 2000, and sponsored by the Wyoming District of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. Over 700 youth and adults from 25 states attended what was, for all intents and purposes, the first Higher Things conference. Based on the success of that first conference, more plans developed for what would become Higher Things. The name for the emerging group was chosen just before the first conference, as it had become obvious by then that the event would serve as an impetus for something worth continuing and expanding. The new organization's theme verse was, "If then you were raised through Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ is, sitting at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things above, not on things on earth." Colossians 3, 1-2. 20 years ago, Higher Things was started by a handful of pastors and lay people who cared very deeply about the young people in the church. Today, over 1,700 LCMS congregations have been impacted by the mission of Higher Things. Higher Things is a lot of things, all of which seek to keep young people focused on Christ and His gifts as they grow and mature in their faith. It is parents teaching their children the catechism. It is youth workers and volunteers reinforcing what is preached from their congregations' pulpits and confessed in their pews. And it is pastors keeping their young sheep Lutheran as they grow up. In 2 decades, we haven't wavered in our mission to assist parents, pastors, congregations in cultivating a distinctly Lutheran identity among their youth and young adults. We work to bring the gospel of Christ and Him crucified to youth via our events, app, confirmation curriculum, reflections, videos, articles, VBS curriculum, and more. Higher Things strives to be available to youth from their cell phones, computer screens, all the way to their summer plans. Our plans for the future? We'll keep putting the gospel in the ears of youth as long as the Lord allows. So that is who is putting on this conference and what it is all about. So, and without further ado, what these guys want to say about it.
Alrighty, we're going to tell you just, we had an amazing time at the conferences last year, and we want to tell you all about what we did, what we enjoyed, what we're looking forward to next year. So, first of all, we'll go through some numbers. Mom said some, but the campus that hosted us this year was Montana State University in Bozeman, Montana. We got to stay in the dorms during the conference and get practice doing that. We got to wander all around the beautiful campus. It was amazing. At this conference, there were 843 registrants from 98 churches, 23 states, and 3 different countries. So there were a lot of people here, or there, I should say. One of the highlights, at least for John and I, was the worship. We got to worship 4 times a day. We had matins, vespers, evening prayer, and compline if you were up late enough for compline, which we were.
I was.
One of my favorite parts was the absolutely amazing hymns we sang. Some of my favorites were, "We praise you and acknowledge you, O God. I bind them to myself today." John?
Sing my tongue the glorious battle. Jesus grant that balm and healing, and who are you who walk in sorrow?
There are hymns we don't sing quite as often in church, but they are absolutely amazing, especially with the voice of over 800 youth all singing. It's incredible, and sometimes they'll get the other instruments in there. We had one with the brass and timpani, and it's like, wow, this is what worship can be. It's incredible. We also, no offense to Dad, like having pastors that could chant.
I am adequate in comparison to many, but they were good.
Yeah, they were amazing.
Get thrown under the bus.
So the worship was absolutely incredible. I don't know what else to say. It was just amazing. Something else we did between worship, because we didn't spend all day in church, though sometimes it felt like that, we had the breakaway sessions where we could go and go to different lessons that different pastors were teaching. There were 6 opportunities to break away. There were 45 different classes offered, which was a lot more than we had last year. It was kind of cool. John, what was your favorite breakaway session you went to?
My favorite breakaway session was But Esau I Hated. And it was all about how Esau is a foreshadowing of Christ. Some of the reasons for this was that he traded his birthright for something practically worthless, and he was cheated on by loved ones, and there's just a lot more. Like, a lot more.
Yeah, this was like a 45-minute study on how Esau was a Christ figure. I went to that one too. It was incredible. One I went to was called Born That Way, which talks about how Christians can deal with those who are struggling with homosexuality and those desires. So we had classes that were Bible studies, we had classes that were about things going on in the world, we had a few classes that were like live podcasts, we had all sorts of different things to go and learn about, and all of them are focused on Christ and Him crucified and what He's done for us and how to apply that. So breakaway sessions were incredible. Dad did one about the Old Testament sacrificial system. A lot of people like that one. So
Give the title.
it was called Blood Everywhere.
I understand you guys got it on the drive there.
Yeah, we listened to it on the drive there, and that was fun. We kind of got the short version of it. And evidently, Dad did like a visual thing. He had different people come up, and there was a kid who, for the rest of the conference, was named the People of Israel. But so that was fun.
At the end of it, I think there were 2 peoples of Israel.
Yeah, because
Because I did it twice.
Yeah, he had 2 sessions to do that. So, yeah, it was breakaway sessions were great. We learned a lot. Looking forward to next year's. We also had just some fun activities, especially in the evenings. We had a lot of free time for both scheduled activities and not so scheduled activities. John, what was an activity that you enjoyed?
Well, I enjoyed playing 9 Square, which is like 4 square, but there's 9 squares, and the squares are raised up on stilts so that they're above your head, and you have to hit the ball over the squares into the other squares.
It's kind of become, they had it last year, now John and I always play it when we go. It's super fun. An activity I was a part of was a chalk art contest. And I wish we had pictures, but if you ask me, I can find one. I drew a little picture, not so little picture of a heart, and then with a little arrow going through it, and in it was the verse, "The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked." That's very fancy little calligraphy. So that was really fun to get to do that. There were other kids who we got to do activities with and make friends with, and it was just incredible. So, in conclusion, Higher Things was awesome. We had a ton of fun, and we're hoping to go again next year. The conference, they're having 2 conferences, one in Illinois and one in Texas. We haven't exactly decided which one we're going to, but it's going to be amazing. It is about baptism, I believe.
No, next year
No,
is going to be
apologetics.
all apologetics. It is beyond a reasonable doubt. And it is telling us why we believe what we believe, that it is based on a historical event that happened 2,000 years ago, that a man actually raised from the dead, and that the historical evidence we have for this is astounding. It's more than we have for the fact that Plato existed. It is huge. And so it is all about teaching kids to deal with the doubts that they're going to be faced with, to deal with the things that they're seeing in the world, things that we never thought they'd have to deal with. And this is designed to equip them. I wish I could do the video. They've done a fantastic video about it. So we really want to go next year. So that's why we're going to be doing all these fundraising events, because being in Illinois or Texas, we're not driving. I put my foot down on that one, so we're probably going to have to fly, which is going to considerably add to the cost. So,
Not really close, yes.
What's the date roughly?
I look at it on my phone. I don't know.
it's usually in July.
Next summer.
Yeah, next summer. So we've got some time. So
Not the summer after next, but this coming.
right, this coming. Higher Things does a conference every single year, and that's kind of one of their things. So they usually try to make them more regional so people can go. This year there's just 2, they're kind of in the center of the country, I guess, so we can't give them that. So, are there any other questions?
What is the age range?
Honestly, at the conference, there are all different ages. We had from baby on the way up. It is really designed for high school level youth. Confirmed youth usually are the ones it's really aimed at, and they do deal with, you know, we had the pastors come up and do a panel where the kids got to ask any question, and they asked some hard questions, and the pastors faced them head on. So I would say the content of it is definitely designed for more of a high school age youth, and that's what we're kind of thinking, is taking the high school age youth. Maybe 8th graders, 8th to 12th graders probably is where we're gonna go. The college age youth does, sometimes people do bring some of their college age youth. They also have an opportunity for the college age youth to serve and to be their CCVs and, be the runners for everything, and then they get to go to the conference for free, they just have to work. So, yeah, but we see people do bring their kids, especially the pastors, and, sometimes you have little kids run around. We do see several babies too, because sometimes the adult chaperones have babies, and they want to encourage the family, and so, yes.
What are your next activities to earn money?
For sure, I have been asked to do the cookies again at Christmas, so I will be doing cookies again at Christmas. We're hoping to bring back the subs for Super Bowl.
Good.
And probably another dinner come the spring with maybe a silent auction. I would like to do a silent auction, but I don't want to compete with the craft bazaar, so we may wait till spring and do it then. Maybe before Mother's Day or something, so you can think about getting your mom's gifts or something. So, if you have any ideas, I'm willing to hear them. Yes.
I'm going to transfer the
Oh, yes.
bottle and can collection from
Yes.
the roof fund to the youth. So they will be the ones collecting them from here out. I got a trunk full.
Cool. That's our other one.
And there's
We'll be
another-
doing
and
the bottles
there's
and
a bag
cans.
here at the church somewhere. And hopefully that'll continue on and it'll help fill some of the gaps for the airfare.
All right. Any other questions? If you don't want to ask them here, you can always catch me at some point and ask me or Pastor, and we're
Or
more than
me.
happy. Or Hannah. We
You can
love
ask
this.
John
And
too.
Not me.
They're gonna break you out of that shell anyway. Here, you'll be up there like him.
Oh, good job, guys.
All right. Thank you so much.